In the days when the world was ruled by empires, the Songhai Empire stood head and shoulders among its contemporaries. It was a symbol of strength, grace, and prosperity. It was an empire everyone looked up to, and today we're going to be exploring significant facts about the Songhai Empire. West Africa is home to many of Africa's oldest kingdoms. In their heydays, these kingdoms played significant roles in the development of trade and economic growth across the region. Most times, these West African societies were shaped by competition for wealth and the search for independence from more powerful kingdoms. One of such kingdoms is the Great Songhai Kingdom. The Songhai Kingdom, also known as the Songhai Empire, was a state located in the western part of the Sahel during the 15th and 16th centuries. Established by Sunni Ali in the late 15th century, Songhai reached its imperial peak under the founder of the Askari dynasty, Muhammad Toure, a general and provincial governor who overthrew Sunni Ali's legitimate successor. In this video, we will explore the development of the empire as well as its contributions to the development of the West African region. Please kindly take a second to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. The Songhai Empire is known by its historical name, which was derived from its largest ethnic group and ruling elite, the Songhai people. Its capital was located in Gao, and the common languages used include Songhai, Tuareg, Arabic, Mande, Fulani, Hausa, and Muri. The major religions of the empire were Sunni, Islam, and traditional African religions. Between the 9th and 3rd centuries BCE, several groups of people collectively formed the Songhai identity. And among the first people to settle in the region of Gao were the Soko people, who established small settlements on the banks of Niger. The Sokos made boats and canoes from the wood of the Chalcedon tree, fished and hunted from their ships, and provided waterborne transports for goods and people. Another group of people that moved into the area to live off of the Niger's resources were the Gao people. The Gaos were hunters and specialized in hunting river animals such as crocodiles and hippopotamus. The Dole people were also known to have inhabited the area. They were mainly farmers who raised crops in the fertile lands bordering the river. Before the 10th century, these early settlers were subjugated by more powerful horse-riding Songhai speakers who established control over the area. All these groups gradually began to speak the same language and became known as the Songhai, together with a new country. The provinces of the Songhai Empire were Kormina, Bara, Dendi, Durama, Bagal, Humberi, Aribinda, Agades, Mali, Senegambia, Hausa Kingdoms, Mosi, Ouagadougou, Arka, Oulata, Tademikat, Takro, Diara, South Algeria, and Kabul. The Songhai Empire at its pinnacle extended over the current territories of Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Mauritania, Senegal, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Gambia, Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana, Ivory Coast, Benin, Togo, and Algeria. Its influence stretched as far as Cameroon, over a vast continuous ethno-linguistic, cultural, and political space of Mandé peoples, Gore, Dogon, Berbers, Arab, Fula, Wolof, Hausa, Soninke people, Akan people, and Yoruba people. This brilliant civilization of Songhai was ruled by the royal lineage of Sunni from the 13th century to the late 15th century. The capital was at Gao, a city surrounded by a wall. Gao was a great cosmopolitan marketplace where kola nuts, gold, ivory, slaves, spices, palm oil, and precious woods were traded in exchange for salt, cloth, arms, horses, and copper. The defense system utilized by the Songhai Empire was the largest organized force in Western Sudan. It was not only a political instrument, but also an economic weapon by the booty it brought in for the empire. Here is the compilation of all the emperors who ruled the Songhai Empire. After the departure of the Sunni dynasty, the new monarchy based at Gao had centralized, absolute, and sacred power. One can only approach the emperor in a prostrate position as he sits on a raised platform surrounded by 700 eunuchs. The Songhai Kingdom, under the rule of Askia Mohammed, used slaves as soldiers. Slaves were trusted not to overthrow their rulers, as Songhai rulers believed that slaves could be trusted to provide unbiased advice, unlike other citizens who held a personal stake in the outcome of decisions. They were also given important positions as royal advisors. There was another group of slaves who were known as palace slaves, or the Arbi. The Arbi slaves served mainly as craftspersons, potters, woodworkers, and musicians. Slaves also worked on village farms to help produce enough food to supply the growing population in towns. People paid taxes to the king in return for internal and external security. The royal court was responsible for the administration and the army. Large estates belonged to nobles, and they were worked by servile labor that did the fishing, animal raising for milk, meat and skins, and the agricultural work. Central to the empire's regional economy were the independent gold fields, as they provided a mainstream of income for the empire. The Songhai's economy was based on a clan system. The clan a person belonged to ultimately decided his or her occupation. The most common occupations were metal workers, fishermen, and carpenters. Lower caste participants consisted of mostly non-farm working immigrants who at times were provided special privileges and held high positions in society. At the top were noblemen and direct descendants of the original Songhai people, followed by freemen and traders. At the bottom were war captives and European slaves obligated to labor, especially in farming. The primary sources of the Songhai Empire's wealth continue to be agricultural production, centered on the Niger flood plain, and taxes on trade goods, especially gold and salt, both of which had also been key to the economy of the Mali Empire. Salt remained Songhai's currency for external trade, while cowrie shells were used for internal trade. Cowrie shells were imported from the Indian Ocean and were thus relatively scarce and could not be counterfeited. The Songhai Kingdom was the last major one in the region. However, its fall did not bring an end to kingdoms in the West Africa. Thank you for learning about the Songhai Empire of West Africa with us. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button, like the video, turn on your notifications, and share the video with your connections. Thank you once again for staying with Explore Africa with the Moria. See you in our next video.